Greetings all and welcome to Daily Pali Reading. We are continuing with one of the Buddha's descriptions of Nibbāna. Tatra pahang bhikkhave neva agating vadami na gating na titing na chuting na upapating apatitang apavatang anaramanam evetang esevanto dukkasati patamang. Also, there I say, monks, there is neither coming, nor going, nor standing still, nor falling away, nor being born. It is just this, not standing still, the state of not going on, foundationless. Now last time, in the first part of what the Buddha was saying, he detailed some of the non-spatial characteristics of Nibbāna, and here we have him discussing some of the non-temporal aspects. At the beginning, we have tatra pahang. This is a contraction of three words, tatra, api, and ahang. Tatra is there, like in that place. Plotinus, I think, also describes the one that way sometimes, there as opposed to here. Now keep in mind, we're not really talking about a different spatial location. The there just means that it's not here in terms of being perceptible, or at least to the great vast majority of us. So tatra, pi or api, also. So this is the second point the Buddha is making. Ahang is I. And of course, in Pali, like in Latin and Greek and Spanish, you don't need to use the pronoun. It's built into the verb. So when it's used, it's a little emphatic. We have vadami as our verb, to say, tell. And then, of course, we have our bhikkhave again, our monks, our post-positive vocative, O monks. Vadami, I should say, is first person singular, present active indicative. Neva, and we have this neva na that we had last time, and we might simply translate all of these as no, as in there is no blank, no A, no B, no C. We have agating, which is from agachati, meaning to come, and here it's a little more abstract, just the idea of coming. I think all of these ing, these I am words are feminine. These are just ending in I. So we have agating, coming, then nagating, no going. Of course, coming and going is sort of its own little duality, but these two ideas put together could have something to do with no samsara, no rebirth, no coming or going in that sense. Natiting, now this is from tititi, to stand. In Greek, this is histemi, which gives us words like stasis. So you can almost get it from that. There's no stability or duration. And then nachuting, which comes from, or the verbal idea, the finite verbal idea is chavati, like falling away. So chuti is passing away, vanishing, deceasing. These are all in the Pali English dictionary. As a pair, these are talking about no being, no becoming, almost. No standing still, no movement. No duration, no passing away, vanishing. Na upapating. There is no birth or rebirth. So then the construction changes a little. We go over to evetang, which is short for eva etang, which can mean kind of just so, or I think just this. So maybe understood, it is just this, what he's talking about. And it's what precedes apatitang, not standing still. It is just not standing still. Then it is apavatang, the state of not going on. Anaramanam evetang. We've talked about the evetang here. This is anaramana is the we've probably encountered this. We've already encountered it a lot here. What in Greek is called the alpha privative, the which is prefixed to the beginning of a word, negating the idea of the word. When it comes before a vowel, it assumes the form of un. So here, the base form, so to speak, aramana, is some sort of foundation. Unaramana is foundationless, conditionless, groundless. Especially in these first two, we have a negated duality. There's no standing still, but there's no stopping. And then this idea of foundationless or supportless, conditionless, groundless can refer to there being no basis for any sort of individuality, perhaps. There's no basis or support for this separate identity, which is going to end up going through samsara. And then there's this next little clause, esse vanto dukkasati. Esse vanto is a contraction of essa, eva, and anta. Anta we've encountered back in the Vachagota reading, an end, some sort of boundary. Essa, eva. Eva we've already encountered in this reading, and essa, this. So this only, and then we have to insert a form of the verb to be, is anta, the end, and this is the really important part, dukkasa. Dukkasa here is the genitive singular of dukkha, suffering. Now suffering might be an overstatement of dukkha, but it is a word that is often used. Sometimes we'll hear a word like unsatisfactoriness. I sort of like ill at ease, or ill at easiness, ill at easiness. It's not really a common expression. Being ill at ease, I think, does capture dukkha fairly well. It's not necessarily about intense suffering. It can be, and it's not necessarily about being in great amounts of pain, though it can be, but it has to do, dukkha has to do with this sense of knowing that things can come to an end and that we're always teetering on perhaps losing a loved one and things of that nature. And this is the most important part. The Buddha has not embarked upon a discussion of Nibbāna simply to talk about something that exists. He talks about it because contacting it, experiencing it, is the end of suffering. It's the Buddha's mission was to help us overcome suffering, and here he is saying that the way, actually the only way of overcoming suffering, is to contact Nibbāna. Here he doesn't talk about contacting that, and we'll find other passages where that does come up. Now I'd like to offer some of my own commentary on this, and it has to do with where is Nibbāna. And I think Nibbāna is coextensive with our reality. It is the same as our reality. But if we go back to that dependent origination, avidya paccaya sankhara, due to ignorance on our part, this world that we know arises. By getting rid of that ignorance, we should be able to contact Nibbāna, what the Buddha describes elsewhere as this state of unexcelled peace and tranquility. I think this also ties in nicely with when Bodhidharma tells us that we need to see our own nature, our true nature, that he's talking about this reality. As a matter of fact, Bodhidharma tells us that our mind, that is our self-nature mind, is nirvana. Likewise, even Vedantists, when they are talking about Atman and Brahman, are most likely talking about this state. And even someone as seemingly afar afield as Dionysius the Areopagite, or the pseudo-Dionysius, his understanding of the utterly transcendent seems to point to this same realm. That is where we will leave things today. Peace, everyone.